My stepmom has slowly turned my dad into a stranger, even though my step-siblings treat me like real family. Hi Reddit, I, 16M. Honestly don't know where else to turn. I just need to get this out because I feel like I'm slowly losing my dad. And with him, the last real piece of family I had left. A little backstory. My mom passed away when I was 10. It was sudden and devastating. My dad was my rock. Back then, he was loving, supportive, and always tried to fill the gap as best as he could. I was a total dad's boy. We'd watch movies together every Friday, he'd help me with homework, and even though he was grieving too, he made sure I never felt alone. But a couple years later, he met someone. I'll call her Laura. At first, I tried to be supportive. My dad deserved happiness, right? He'd been through so much, and I thought maybe this could be good for him. She had two kids of her own, a girl, 14F, and a boy, 12M. I was nervous about meeting them, but honestly, they turned out to be amazing. They've always treated me like a real brother. Even now, they're some of the only people who make me feel like I belong. The problem is Laura. From the very beginning, she never really made an effort with me. Not outright mean, but cold. She'd make little comments like, "This is our home now, things are going to change," or "Your dad needs to move on from the past." The past being my mom, of course. She hated when I brought her up. She hated photos of her being around. Slowly, things that reminded me of my mom started disappearing. First, the family picture in the living room, then small things like her favorite blanket or decorations. Whenever I asked about it, Laura would say, "It's time to look forward, not backward." At first, my dad still defended me, but over time, he started to change. He went from being warm and present to distant, cold. If Laura criticized me, he would side with her. If I wanted to spend time with him, suddenly he was too busy. He started talking to me like I was some burden in the house instead of his kid. The Friday movie nights, gone. The late night talks, gone. Now it's always about Laura, what she wants, what she thinks. And if she doesn't want me included, my dad doesn't even argue anymore. A few examples. Last year, I found out they went on a family vacation without me. My step-siblings told me they actually wanted me there and asked my dad why I wasn't invited, but apparently Laura said, "It would be awkward. He's old enough to stay home." My dad didn't fight it. He just left me behind. On my 16th birthday, he completely forgot. Laura organized a family dinner that didn't include me. My step-siblings actually saved the day by sneaking me a cake they made themselves. Recently, Laura told me directly that I should stop expecting so much from my dad because he has a new family now. That one broke me. What hurts the most is that my step-siblings see what's happening. They've defended me in arguments. They try to include me in things. Sometimes they even sneak me into their plans when Laura says I'm not invited. They're honestly more like family to me than my own dad at this point. But my dad, he's gone. He's here physically, but the man who used to tuck me in after nightmares, who used to say, "We'll get through this together," he doesn't exist anymore. He's replaced by someone who looks at me like I'm just an obligation. A couple weeks ago, I finally snapped. I told him, "You're not the same. Mom would be so disappointed in the way you've treated me." He didn't yell. He didn't cry. He just stared at me for a second and then walked away. That silence hurt worse than if he'd screamed at me. Now, I'm stuck in this house where the only people who make me feel wanted are my step-siblings, while my own dad acts like I'm invisible. I don't even know what to do anymore. I can't move out. I don't have anyone else to turn to. I just feel like I've lost him, like I've lost both parents, even though one of them is still alive. So I'm here asking, am I wrong for blaming my dad? For thinking he let this happen? Should I just accept that he's not coming back? That Laura has him under her control now? I don't know. I just needed to vent. Thanks if you read all this. First update. A lot of people in the comments asked if I had other family to turn to like my mom's side. So I want to clarify that first. Yes, I do have extended family. My grandma, my aunt, and a couple cousins. They were always kind to me, but they couldn't take me in. Not because they didn't care, but because they were honest. Raising a teenager full-time was more than they could handle. My grandma is older and on a fixed income. My aunt already had her hands full with her own kids. What they did do, though, was try to support me financially. Every so often, they'd send money for me to help with clothes, school stuff, or just to give me a little cushion. But here's the part that still makes me angry. My dad and Laura never let me see any of it. I didn't know until later, but they would intercept the money and use it for themselves. Family vacations, house renovations, even new gadgets. Meanwhile, I was walking around in shoes with holes and wearing hand-me-downs while they were posting photos from fancy weekend getaways. When I asked about money for school supplies, my dad would sigh and say, "We're tight on cash right now. You'll just have to make do." So yeah, extended family helped in the ways they could, but my dad and Laura made sure I never benefited. Second update. Fast forward to now. I'm 20, and I moved out as soon as I turned 18. I worked part-time through high school, saved every penny, and with some help from a family friend, I rented a basement apartment until I could stand on my own. I started at community college, transferred later, and now I'm studying computer science. I even landed a solid internship that pays better than I thought possible at my age. I don't say this to brag. I say it because I'm proud that I built this life without my dad or Laura. My step-siblings. We're still close. They're honestly my real family now. We talk all the time, hang out whenever we can, and we've promised each other that nothing will break that bond. They saw what happened. They lived through it too. And they still chose to stand by me. Third update. It's been about 4 years since I first posted this, and I want to give a full update. About 6 months ago, I got a call from Laura, not my dad, Laura. She said things had been difficult financially, and that my dad was struggling with bills. Then she asked if I could help out. Yup, the same woman who erased my mom, pushed me out of my own home, and told me I wasn't part of the family. Now she was basically begging me for money. I asked her straight up, "What happened to all the money my grandma and aunt sent for me?" She froze, then stammered something about family expenses. That was all I needed to hear. I told her, "You made it clear years ago that I wasn't part of your family. Don't call me now that you need something." Then I hung up. A week later, my dad called me himself. Not to apologize, not to reconnect, no, to tell me I was being selfish for not helping. He said, "Family takes care of each other." I almost laughed. I told him family doesn't steal from their kids and abandon them when someone new comes along. You made your choice years ago. Now live with it. And I hung up. Since then, I haven't heard from either of them. And honestly, I don't care if I ever do. I have my step-siblings. I have my extended family who, while they couldn't raise me, always cared about me. I have friends and a future I'm proud of. I used to ache for my dad. I used to replay memories of when he was my hero and wonder where it all went wrong. But I've accepted that man doesn't exist anymore. Laura got to him, and he let her. That's on him. Blood doesn't make someone family. Love and loyalty do. And by that definition, I've got a bigger, better family now than he'll ever have.